There we go.
What was it like getting Brett back? How did he come in, understanding there was an exit, and then what's that conversation like, talking him through, hey,
Yep.
we cut you, and now we'd like you back?
Yeah, I think obviously the one thing, I would love having him back, first of all. Great person, great teammate, cares a lot about this team, a lot about winning and performing at a high level. I think the one thing that really helped was the way that the exit took place. The real conversations that we had, keep that to ourselves, but the real conversations about the approach and what things needed, how we needed it, where we were at, and I think he saw it from that perspective too. And he's a pro; he's been through this before. But I think at the same point, he was so excited to come back. Like the phone call to him was awesome. How excited he was and encouraged to come back. And he felt the same way when we left. Like, hey man, I'm the guy. And so that's encouraging and awesome for him to feel that way, and the confidence and the love he had for the guys that he was here with.
Go ahead, sorry.
Look what he did last, in the playoffs, missing those extra points. Have you had a conversation with him about it, or how do you handle, I guess, the mentality that you need to kind of rebound?
Yeah, I think we've had conversations when we brought him in here, even initially, about that same stuff and about being able to be mentally tough and responding and rebounding, and just his process and the way he goes through it, and his mental checklist and everything he does every week to prepare, both physically and mentally, obviously as a kicker. That's one of the things that's the most I'd say gives you the confidence and belief in what he's doing in his process, the way he handles it and goes about it each and every day. And then by the end of the week, he has his mental checklist prepped along with everything he's done physically throughout the week, and he feels really good going into it.
Can you speak to the concept of misses? And I know we just say, oh, that kicker missed, but there's a snap, there's a hold, obviously. And for him specifically, about his misses, what has to be more consistent?
Yeah, I think it's a great question, and I think that's a lot of things. It's a misconception along the way for a lot of places. You get on these different kickers, and a guy misses here and there, but there's obviously a lot to go with the operation. And when you have the moving parts that we've had, obviously we felt in a really good rhythm with Alex and Ethan. Injuries happen and they occur, and you move it out, and you move one changing part, which moves the second, which then affects the third, right? There's a chain of command within that link there, and we just have to be more consistent from start to finish, the reality of it. And that's the snaps and the locations with the laces, everything that we need there to be able to get the ball, catch it cleanly and smoothly, to transition it to the ground, to have the proper lean with the laces forward and be set and still. That gives the kicker enough time to see it on the ground so it's not moving as he's hitting the ball. And that's really the biggest thing that we've been working on, is just the level of consistency between those parts. And everyone has their own job to do, and focusing on my 1/3 within the play, and that's the biggest thing going into the playoffs.
Sean mentioned after a couple of the punt returns, has to tackle that, or team has to tackle that. First of all, is it where you want the standard to be at this time of year? And then second, when you are limited in contact for practice and it's this late in the year, how do you go about fixing that? Yeah,
I think that's a great question too. One of the things for us, obviously tackling has been an issue dating through. I'm not going to hide from that. No part of me would want to do that. And the way we do it is tons of tackling, one-on-one open field tackling. We continue to cut back on other areas and emphasize open field tackling, vice tackling, trail and fill tackling, all these different aspects that come in within a play, whether it be kickoff coverage or punt coverage. Every tackle looks different with the space that's available of the field on a special teams play. Most time in a run play on offense or things like that, it's usually a tight box where it's 2 guys or 3 guys converging and everyone has a fit where they're setting an edge and turning it back. On special teams, there's more space and different vertical and horizontal levels to the coverage units. And so it's about being able to play off and trust each other, and then being able to make the tackle and hold on. Like, it has to be at that level of importance and that eagerness for each player, the will and the want to get the guy down every single play, and trusting everybody else around him, but having the same mentality of, I'm going to make this play myself. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to be the one to get this guy to the ground. And that's been the biggest shift. And then along with the last couple weeks, how much tackling we've added to practice has been really good, which I thought showed up last week as far as, obviously Ray made the one miss on the one cut on the last one, and then we just gang tackled it, converged, really good trail and fills off of players, things like that. Those are encouraging to see and continue to grow upon and build.
Under the terms of the collective bargaining agreement, from the time you played to now you're coaching, were you guys able to tackle more and do real time tackling in terms of trying to improve?
I would say
skill?
it's a great. With Coach Coughlin, I'd say there probably was a little more tackling involved, especially in training camps and a lot more live periods than maybe you would like in today's NFL. But no, but I loved it. I mean, that's your physical mentality and comes from that, and your tone setting, your tempo, and your just mental makeup of who you are and what you want is established in that. Your physical conditioning of punishment, I guess, is a way to put it. And for these guys, there's a real health aspect to it, right? Health and safety and being able to do this but being in the proper football position. Like, you could still take everything to the point of attack, to the contact, and work the same drills just without the hitting. And I wouldn't say that we weren't that tough. We didn't do open field tackling and live tackling on the returns and things like that. Like, it was never like that in any regard. But yes, there is a lack of tackling. And one thing that's awesome, getting to put the pads back on, those type of things, getting a little bit of physicality back to practice, that's huge. And I think that'll help us as well.
I've always kind of wondered this, and maybe you can break this down for us. What is the procedure for your gunners when they're running down? Are they supposed to break down when they get down there, or do you want them to have momentum and take a swipe, and if they miss, they miss? What is the proper procedure on that?
There's a lot of different philosophies. I think if you watch our tape, you'll know ours. I'm not going to say that based upon how teams can attack the different ways of tackling. I think that's one of the things that special teams coaches look at all the time is how does their first wave attack. So I'm not going to just put it out there. I think if you watch the tape, you can kind of see it. But it's a great question. I'm trying not to give away any football aspect of it. But for us, it's about being able to work together. I'll put it that way. To be able to work together. If you try to make everything individually, you're going to be in a tough spot. And, these returners are really good in this league. And if you think everything's a one-on-one in space, the returner wins way more often than you think, especially if you just have one guy running full speed.
They lost to go for it, fake punts anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Time. Everybody knows it's coming, or it could come at some point. Why are they successful at pulling those off?
I think they do a great job of, like, situationally when it is. They're up in games. They're backed up, 4th and mediums to 4th and longs, as opposed to when most people think 4th and shorts. I think they do a really good job of checking in and out of things. And you can see that on film is when they feel like they have a look, they're not afraid to run it at any point. And you got to be ready for it. And you can kind of sugarcoat it and show them different things, make them think they got it, try to bait them into one, and then bring something to stop it. You still want to get a return. You still want to force with some pressure, potentially block a punt, all those things. You got to be real smart about when you do it, how you do it. And at the end of the day, we have to play free. We have to be able to go out there and trust our guys to execute within the fundamentals and the techniques and the details of their assignments. Because this game you can't play scared. You can't play timid. When you do that, bad things happen. If you play on the aggressive, you play with a great mindset of saying, hey, I'm going to go out there and focus on my detail, my assignment, my 1/11th each play, you can really have a much greater impact and play more confident, which then you're able to make your plays and force people's hands as opposed to waiting on things to occur to you.
We know that the special teams unit and specifically finding the kicker and the holder and the punter, the long snapper and the punter. There was some pretty strict parameters financially around what the team's plan for their roster build was this year. That factored in going back through the spring all the way into now. Is there anything you would have done differently or changed about the kicker identification process specifically?
No, I'm not going to get into that part of it. Obviously, everyone in the league has different parameters for the way that the GMs or the head coaches want to allocate money and those things. At the end of the day, we've got to be better. No matter who's out there, no matter what we do, I've got to coach better. We got to play better. We're going to make our kicks. We're going to cover. We got to punt with hang time, good distance, direction, all those things to help the others around us do our job better. And that's really all we're striving to do every day is continue to improve, get better, focus on practice, our habits, and our details and techniques. And that's, not going back to take anything back. You're never going to be able to do that. So just keep looking forward, keep progressing in the right way, and keep focused on putting our best foot forward. Because at this point, as you guys know, it's playoff football. It's one and done. And no one cares what the last 18 weeks look like. As long as we go out there and play our best football from this point forward, and we give ourselves a chance to win or give our team a chance to win, set our offense and defense up in good field position, all those type of things, we'll look back at this and say it was a success. That's how I look at it. Yep, thank you.
Chase, appreciate the time.